What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. So, yes, I'm back with Batwoman. Season 2, Episode 1. Whatever happened to Kane? Guys, I think she might be dead. You play the sad music, it's so sad. We all feel it on such a deep level because we all really loved Kate. She was an amazing character. You want to know how she was an amazing character? We're going to spend like 10 minutes in this episode just saying what a great character she was. And if we wrote it into the show, that means it's the truth. Even if you don't feel it at home, even if you don't connect with her at all because she was kind of shallow and kind of petty and not that great of a character and a little one note, it doesn't matter because we wrote that she was a great person. So you should feel sad. So anyways, yes, I am getting back into these CW shows for a couple reasons. One, there's a bit of morbid curiosity just to see what they decide to do with these shows from here on out. Tiny bit of masochism because I do hate myself and is I guess a less painful. I don't know. So in some ways, it's a bit more painful than just physically harming myself. But the final reason is just because there is something fun to me about watching these shows that are so full of themselves and act like they are just this high art, high drama. It is fun to rip into that and be like, no, let me knock you down a few pegs. Let me tell you exactly why none of this works. So first of all, starting off with the fact that Kane is off the show, Ruby Rose left. Their reasoning is a little weak. It seems very forced because they wanted not only Kate to be off the show, but also a new girl to get the bat suit. So what's the best way to do that? Well, if they just had Kate die by some random attack, a random person wouldn't have been able to pick up the bat suit. So let's have it be a plane crash. Question, why didn't Supergirl help? Because Supergirl, we've seen her save a lot of people from plane crashes before. Now, granted, obviously, this could have just been something where she wasn't ready, she didn't hear about it in time, blah, 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 whatever. But at the same time, you would think plane crash, that's kind of Supergirl's specialty. She would probably be like, oh, my friend Kate is on, if they're such great friends as the show has made them out to be. My friend Kate is on that crash. I'm going to go save her. But no, we don't hear or see anybody do anything about it. And it's going to be kind of funny, too, because with the idea that Kate is dead, are we going to get any references to any of these other shows? Like, is Barry or Kara, are either of them going to show up and be like, I'm so sorry for your loss? I'm guessing probably not. So, I don't know, it's just kind of a funny little side note to think, like, this is how little these shows cared about Kane, even though they want us to think that she's such a great character. But overall, the writing is still bad. You have this really shoehorned in reason why Alice gets to be the main villain again, because apparently Ryan, the girl that picks up the batsuit, her mother figure was killed by Alice's gang. Oh, well, there you go, guys. That's all the connection you need. Now Alice can stick around and do her whole shtick, which she's still. I complained about it a lot in the first season. She still comes off as somebody who wants to be seen as crazy but isn't actually crazy. Like, she seems like she is acting. And that's not as fun as people who really look like they are that character. And a lot of it, it's because she's doing a lot of the same cliches that she did in the first season. The talking really loud and then talking very softly. The wide eyes constantly just popping out of her head, and then she talks like this a lot with her hands and does crazy motions because this is crazy, right? Like, this is what crazy people do, right? It's like she's a cartoon character, and she's trying to pretend to be that cartoon type of person, and it doesn't feel real, it doesn't feel genuine, it feels like she is just acting, and it gets very old very quickly. Honestly, any of her scenes, I'm like, can I just fast forward this, please? Because are these even that important? Let's see. She tells her dad about Kate, so that, obviously, with her not coming back, they had to give him that information somehow, and that's how they did it, so easy peasy. It also does kind of put the whole, what they were building up at the end of last season, it makes all of that seem completely pointless now, because it seemed like they were building up this rivalry between the Crows and Batwoman, but now that he knows about Kate being Batwoman, Now it's like, okay, well, that storyline is just done. And that was kind of your big cliffhanger, too, was the crows going after her. So it really shows just how bad the writing can be whenever one person leaving the show just completely destroys a lot of what you were doing last season. Granted, main character, so it would mess up a lot of things, but it's really dumb. Tommy Elliott's storyline going in as Bruce Wayne also done very quickly. You know, he goes in, fools everybody, in my opinion, way too easily. I mean, he calls Luke Mini Fox, and I'm thinking, okay, was this world's Bruce Wayne like this? Like, I get his party boy personality might have called Luke Mini Fox, but I feel like his people who know I'm Batman personality would have been a lot more serious. You know, the type of Bruce Wayne we've seen in some of the more recent stuff, you know, like Kevin Conroy's Batman in the animated series or Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like, whenever they're Bruce Wayne not pretending to be a party boy, he seems a lot more serious. You know, every single iteration. This one, it seems like he comes in, he acts like he's a party boy and stuff. He's all like, yeah, what's up, guys? How you guys doing? I'm back. Yeah, I know. Sorry about Kate. It sucks. You know what? You've been the man of the castle for a while. Why don't you... It just, all of this seems like somebody who is pretending to be party boy Bruce Wayne. I feel like he wouldn't act like that around people who know that he is Batman whenever he's pretending to be Batman. And yet nobody picks up on it. And thankfully... At least somebody does. And I think part of it, too, is because I recently binge watched the first season of Justified, because that's one of my favorite shows, and seeing how well they write those moments where, you know, Raylan picks up on something that somebody says something that he catches, or he can tell they're lying, he senses something is wrong. It's very clever in their writing because you could see how observant he is and how aware of everything going on that he is. This show, it's like nobody is aware of anything. Everybody's just so, oh yeah, Bruce is back. No explanation, no call, no nothing. His explanation is weak. But yeah, let's just bring him into the Batcave. He's not even taking charge and getting into the Batcave himself. He wants me to open the Batcave for him. That doesn't raise any red flags at all. I'm just going to take him right in. Oh gosh, guys, I let him into the Batcave. I can't believe I did that. And then they try to explain it away. Oh, well, you know, Luke, it's fine. We just lost Kate. There was a chance he could find her. I mean, of course you wanted him to help. That's weak as hell. Like, I get that would upset you, but show some intelligence, please. Even in those moments where you are emotionally vulnerable, it still shouldn't lead you to make glaringly obvious stupid decisions. But they did. So, again, thankfully, that storyline seems to be done. His whole stealing the Batmobile thing was ridiculous as well. Like, he shoots 2 sections of a wall inside the Batcave with a grenade launcher, and just one of them happens to be, I guess, a fake wall, and it blows up and reveals the Batmobile. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's stupid easy. And then the whole car chase was ridiculous because the Batmobile going up against basically the Mystery Machine. I wonder which one is going to win. Oh, the Mystery Machine won. Oh, I'm shocked. I can't believe that the Batmobile with rocket launchers and obviously like rockets and jets and so much faster than a van should be. But it doesn't matter. She managed to drive and keep away from him, so... Oh, God, that was dumb. He steals the kryptonite, which was such a big deal at the end of last season, and then he just takes it at the beginning of this episode. Uses it. It goes through the batsuit, hits her, but doesn't kill her. It just, like, I don't know, leaves a mark on her skin for some reason. That's weird. Let's see, what else? Ryan herself is just kind of, Like, as a character, she's not that interesting. They're clearly setting her up to be like this powerful, you know, oh yes, she's unseen. She's one of the minorities that is oppressed because of who she is and blah, 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 blah. Clearly, they're going to have a lot of soapbox moments with her. They already had one in this episode when she's talking about just being a number, all that. But a lot of her story is just kind of dumb. You know, she happens upon the Batwoman suit. It just happens to fit her. She just happens to know how to fight out of nowhere. A lot of that is just kind of, really? Like, she grew up on the streets and somehow she can do martial arts? Why? She's some random person who's living on the streets, and again, the Batwoman suit just happens to fit her. Could you at least give me something else, please? Could you have brought in a character maybe that is somehow connected to more instead of just bringing in a random person that nobody really knows? Because here's the other thing. One of the intriguing things about DC heroes most of the time is the fact that they have a secret identity. And so they're trying to hide that part of themselves because they don't want their loved ones to be in danger. Well, now we've got some random street urchin who's putting on the Batsuit. Guess what? Secret identity, who cares? Who's your loved one that you're trying to protect? Not trying to be offensive, but seriously, obviously with Batman, it's more so like he has Alfred, he has sometimes Robin, and just the legacy of the Waynes, he doesn't want that to be diminished by having a vigilante be revealed to be Bruce Wayne. So that's part of why he's hiding his identity. It's not just because of his loved ones. With Kane, obviously, there was a lot of people that she knew that could have been in danger. Her dad finding out would have been trouble because of who he was and Charge of the Crows and all of that. Like, there's a lot that she needed to protect her identity for. This girl, I can't think of any reason why she needs to hide who she is. Like, you reveal, oh, it's just that some random girl that nobody knows, really. Okay, I don't know why she's wearing a mask then. I don't know. It's not anything that's well done or well written. It's just all dumb. And admittedly, while it is, again, fun to poke fun at how bad the writing can be, it also doesn't get me excited at all to see this season because at least last season there's a lot of really stupid things and it was almost kind of entertainingly stupid at times. Now this is just verging into uninterestingly stupid. It's stuff that doesn't make sense. It's writing that, again, very full of itself. Like the moments when they were talking about Kane and how awesome she was and all of that. Like, come on. That's you sitting there going, hey, we wrote a great character. We wrote such a representative character. Like, she fought for so many people. She did so many awesome things. She's so cool. She's a hero even without the suit. Like, it's so self-gratifying that it kind of gets annoying. And again, they spend so much time. Now, granted, maybe that'll go away and we can focus more on the fun, stupid stuff, like whenever she takes on villains and probably how bad the writing and how bad she's going to be at this whole thing. I don't know. It just doesn't really get me excited. Sophie finding out that Kate was Batwoman, which she obviously should have already known, but her being like, oh, I didn't tell you because I loved you. No, that doesn't make sense. I lied to you because I love you. What? How does that make sense? The one line, I'm pretty sure you already knew, but I did a pretty good job of convincing you otherwise. Yeah, because you showed up in a room one time with Batwoman already in there, somehow, some way, coincidentally. That was so convincing. Like, oh my gosh. So, I don't know. Sophia, whatever, she seems like she's going to be more involved. Tommy Elliott's already back in Arkham, so his story is done. Alice is lying with Mouse's dead body, so that's weird. Other than that, I don't really see it's going to be Alice and it's going to be Sophia. That's the only two stories that I see building up for this season. And we already know Ryan's connection to one. We already know Sophia's connection to Julia. I don't remember now. So clearly, that's going to be it. Those are the two stories. Neither of them are that interesting. Just not looking forward to it, really. But I know I did this to myself. I'm the one that convinced myself, no, you need to watch the show some more just to see where does it go. And now I'm feeling like I've made a mistake and I don't really want to see where it goes. But anyways, that's it for this first episode. On to the next one. I'll see you there. And now episode 2, Prior Criminal History. And this episode starts with a bang. And by a bang, I mean a bang.mp4. Because, there's the weird moment in the sewers whenever Alice is showing the rat that she's got, Mouse's body. They cut to it, and literally, I've heard this sound before, like on a Nostalgia Critic review. And nothing against his reviews, but it's on YouTube. So, tend to use like these goofier sounding sound effects. I don't expect to see it on a professional show. And I don't even know why they made the sound. We saw his dead body in the last episode, but they cut to it here with the chun, and I'm like, why? What's shocking about this? We already know his dead body is down there with her. So I don't know what that was about, but yeah, I mean, we learn a little bit more about Ryan in this episode. Still not interesting. Apparently, she was trained in martial arts. I don't know where. I guess Hobo Joe down the road was teaching martial arts or something, because obviously she couldn't afford martial arts lessons. So unless the woman that brought her in was like, I don't know, League of Assassins or something secretly and trained her, whatever. It all sounds kind of stupid to me. But she stops this one robbery, gets brought in because the guys run away that were trying to do the robbery, and for whatever reason, the Crows bring her in. They have enough time apparently to do a fingerprint check on the gun and find out that her fingerprints are on the gun that the one guy was holding. But they don't bother to check the security cameras until after all of this other stuff, after bringing her in, checking the fingerprints on the gun. They're like, you know what? Let's check the security footage and see what happened. Like, don't get me wrong. I know they try to show that the police and the Crows are obviously incompetent because they want to show how awesome and righteous Batwoman is. And, this Ryan apparently was taken in by the Crows before, and they were the ones responsible for her false imprisonment or something like that. So it's like, clearly they're trying to show that the Crows don't do their jobs well. But I'm also like, but do you have to make them so stupid and so obviously stupid? I don't know. I feel like there's a way to write them as corrupt and not stupid, and this just seems like they're just stupid. So anyways, apparently there's a bit of a history between her and Sophie. So another Batwoman that Sophie knows, and she's not going to recognize, even though she probably should. But yeah, a lot of this episode was just essentially Alice doing her thing, trying to, get these bats with poison in them to attack the city. To essentially piss off this Sophia lady. And that was pretty much it. Ryan gets on the Batwoman suit for the first time, saves the day, kind of. Even that scene wasn't really well done because she grabs the thing that's drawing the bats, puts it in the Batmobile and drives. And then it's like they're acting as if she's on a time limit or something, or like the bats are going to... like, you're in the Batmobile. You're really worried about bats attacking the Batmobile? Explain that to me. Like, if you were just in a normal car and the bats could, smash the glass and get in, and that's what they were trying to do, maybe that would be a little bit more tense. You're in the Batmobile. A little swarm of bats is not going to affect the Batmobile. So the whole tension in that scene was just pointless, and then she decides to steal a Crow's bus, lure the bats in there, and then blow it up. And I'm thinking, I feel like there's a lot of other ways you could have gotten around this. There's a lot of different things you could have done without having to destroy a Crow's bus. But I guess they want to put this new Batwoman on a bad side, on the Crow's bad side, maybe, possibly. I don't know. But the rest of the story, it's just kind of, it wasn't well written, but it wasn't quite as dumb as some of the things done. Clearly Alice is trying to piss off Sophia. Julia and Sophie are apparently not a couple anymore, because even though we spent last 4 or 5 episodes building them up as a couple last season, pretty much nothing from last season is carrying over to this one. It's just in the first 2 episodes they basically cut off almost every story they were building up at the end of last season. So it's not even bad writing. It's not even writing, to be honest. It's like they just brought in an entirely new writing team. It kind of reminds me of the Star Wars sequels, building up these stories, and then the new writer comes in like, I don't want to do that stuff. I want to do this stuff instead. It's like, that's what the last one was building up, though. Let's see. The acting has just gotten worse somehow. Obviously, Alice is still the same as far as her acting is concerned. It's still just not convincing, but it's not necessarily, I wouldn't call it bad acting. It's just, it's unfocused, and it feels like it's trying to be something that it's not. It's trying too hard. But my Maya? Mary. Mary's acting this season, it feels like it's taken a huge hit. Last season she wasn't great, but she was passable. I liked it more when she was acting more serious. When she was acting goofy and when she was acting like the social media influencer, those were the issues I had. This season, even her serious acting has taken a major hit. Like, there are so many moments where her delivery sounds so uninterested and almost like she's just reading a line. I don't remember the line now that really made me think, "Oh my gosh, what is going on with her?" But it was something near the end of I think it was whenever Ryan was trying to lure the bats away or something like that. I don't know. There was a line read that made me go, she needed a few more takes for that one for sure. Ryan herself, like, acting wise, is not that great either. Like, the whole when the bat flew out of Mouse, like that scream and then the delivery. I don't like bats. Like, it sounded very forced and awkward. And honestly, they try to do that awkwardness a lot with her, and those are definitely the worst scenes. Like, she does okay with the serious acting. Her awkward humor acting is just really uncomfortable and cringy and not in a good way. So, yeah, I'm definitely not looking forward to all those moments whenever she's like, "Oh, nobody saw that, right?" Like, ugh. And then the random girl that shows up, I'm guessing that works for Sophia, at the end of it, kind of looked like possibly a League of Assassins, so I don't know if Sophia is supposed to be like the new head of the League. Her acting was, I wouldn't even call it robotic, it was just awful. The stupid girl is the one that just, it almost had me laughing. Like, it was that bad. Stupid girl. What are you doing? Are you trying to out cartoon Alice? Because don't bother, because she's already got that handled. She's got the cartoony silliness handled. But yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm trying to find something to grasp onto. Is like, okay, maybe we'll see where that goes. But a lot of this, again, it's pushing propaganda, kind of like what first season was. But instead of, oh well, all gay people are oppressed, now it's, oh, black people are oppressed and the cops hate them. And her one line, yeah, if Alice wasn't white, she'd be dead by now. Okay, you are a black person who is seen as a criminal. They didn't shoot you, so I don't know what point you're trying to make here. But again, it's what I've come to expect from most of these CW shows. They're not just going to push the agenda, they're going to hammer it in and make sure that you know that if you don't agree with them, if you're on the other side, if you're not, if you're on the right side, and when I say right, I mean not left, you're a terrible person. And we're going to show you exactly why. We're going to spell it out. We're going to stand up on our soapbox because we're going to preach to everyone that's on the right side that they are wrong. They're probably not watching your show, though. So you're just wasting your breath on stuff that doesn't really need to be talked about instead of just telling a story. And unfortunately, it happens for all of these CW shows, DC CW universe. So, but anyways, spent way too much time on these first two episodes. I'm probably going to run out of time for the third one, but we'll try to get through it. So on to it. Here we go. And finally, episode 3, Batgirl Magic. Something good! I can talk about something good. Because, yeah, Victor Zsasz was fun. They got to play him. I thought he looked like he was having a good time. I like the little joke when he's looking for a place to carve, one of the victims that he killed at the beginning. He's like, look who's getting close to retirement. And I don't know, something's funny about that idea because I've never really thought about it like that. Like when he runs out of space to carve numbers onto himself, is he like, all right, well, I guess I'm done killing people now. But no, he was having fun with the role, clearly. His scenes were pretty enjoyable. I especially enjoyed the scene whenever she showed up in his apartment, from beginning to end, really, because while the whole thing with her not having battering was stupid, his response to the whole thing was pretty funny. And I really liked the line where he talked about her not being comfortable in her own skin because of the bat suit. And it makes sense because really she's trying to basically take the bat suit from Kate and not really making it her own. So that's kind of the point of this episode is she changes the suit, changes the wig to feel more like herself. And that's, I mean, it's fine. If I cared about these characters more, I would probably be more like, yeah, awesome, but I really don't. So it's just whatever. But of course, it also ends with him just pulling out the rocket launcher. That's just funny to me. But everything else, I mean, it's still stupid. Finally get to see Sophia. Her whole thing just feels like a setting up for her to be the big bad that they have to go up against eventually. Don't really know anything about what her little group is about. Apparently, she's pissed at Alice for showing the Desert Rose to the world. She's also says that she's holding Kate, which I don't know if that's going to be true or not, but I'm guessing probably not. Sophie able to take on that one guard whose acting is still terrible. Just seems kind of ridiculous to me. Not that Sophie can't fight, but to fight on that level is like, okay, then why isn't she Batwoman? Because if she's able to fight that well and she could take on an assassin without her hands for at least more than just a few seconds, why is Sophie not being Batwoman? And again, the whole idea that Kate didn't want to date her because, oh, well, I don't want to put her life in danger. Clearly she could take care of herself, and her life is already in danger because she works with the crows anyway, so that whole storyline was completely stupid. And it's getting more stupid the more you show Sophie can handle herself in a fight. So, but no, the stuff with Alice, though, and figuring out what's going on with her, what her plans are and all that, it's not bad. It isn't. Because I don't care about Alice, because I don't care about most of these stories, it's hard for me to really get invested. So like I'm following everything that's being said, but I'm not getting excited because I feel like these writers have shown they can't handle these stories properly. So even if they set up for something that is exciting, I don't think it's going to work out well. I think something stupid's probably going to happen and make me pissed off if I try to expect something good. So I'm not really expecting much from this whole story with Sophia and Alice and them essentially trying to, I guess, take her down to get Kate back, if that's what it turns into. I'm not really looking forward to any of that. Stuff with Ryan, again, just more. She's becoming her own Batwoman. I did find it kind of funny because we find out she's also a lesbian, so it's like, I did have the thought of, okay, so we went from, your main character is a woman and gay, so you're representing two things that a lot of people say are oppressed, and so we got to show representation. Well, now you've got a woman and a black woman that's Batman, so we're going to show that oppression. I'm like, but what would be the trifecta is if she was a gay black woman, then she could really represent. And then in this episode, she talks about having an ex-girlfriend. I'm like, aha! They did it! They made her a gay black woman, so all the representation. My throat is kind of sore. I screamed earlier. It wasn't a good idea. And now anytime I do any sort of voice, it hurts. But yeah, so it's kind of funny to me because I'm just like, you really have to check all those boxes on your representation chart or else you're not making true art. Okay. But no, I mean, it doesn't add anything to her character right now. It's just something they threw in clearly because they still want to represent. That scene with her and Zaz in there, though, is kind of funny. And honestly, the fact that, I don't know, whenever they saw Zaz and they saw the mark on his head, the fact that she's the one that pointed him out, and I'm thinking, okay, Victor Zsasz did take on Batman, right? And they confirmed it later in the episode. So the fact that Luke didn't instantly know who this was, I mean, did his father just not tell him anything that Batman was up to? Did he just completely keep him sheltered and like, oh no, I just work for Bruce Wayne? And I don't know. It just seems weird that, yeah, bald guy with marks on his body, I would assume Zaz. But anyways, I feel like that's mostly all the stuff that I can think of. I mean, again, I'm just not really that invested at the moment. I think Black Mask is going to show up as well because they have these two crows talking to each other randomly. It's like, well, get me more. I can't just show that the leader of the whatever's is just a guy in a black mask. And the way he said it too, he even almost kind of paused for a second. Guy in a black mask, wink. Like, he could have turned to the camera and it would have made too much sense. Because sometimes I feel like they think they're writing a cartoon here. But yeah, I guess he's going to show up at some point. I don't know when. I did forget to mention the last episode because Vesper Fairchild is back and she's still just as annoying. And again, I'm a fan of dad jokes. I'm a fan of puns. These are painful. These are very painful. They are the type of things that people tell ironically to make people go, oh, come on. And you're doing it in a professional show. That's how bad your writing is. But she just, I don't know. I get the fact that like media and social media and all of that, just trying to be a superhero in these times is very different than what it was back in the day whenever media wasn't as big of a thing. At the same time, though, it's not stuff I want to see. I don't want to see her posing for the camera on the front page of a newspaper. You know, I don't want to hear these talk shows basically asking all of these, like, oh, did we get a new Batwoman? Talk to me, Gotham. It's just, it's annoying and it's not fun and it's not the stuff that I want to see. I want to see her fighting bad guys. That's where the focus should be, and it feels like too much focus is getting spent on her public image. You know, who cares? But I'm almost out of time. If I remember anything that I forgot to talk about, I'll probably bring it up in the next review. But yeah, we're back to the CW shows. I am going to be doing the, I'll talk about 3 episodes. I'll talk about another 3 episodes of either this show or one of the other shows. I'm going to be basing it on when they were released. So I'll try to separate it a bit in a way that makes sense based on the release dates. So look forward to that. Look forward to me getting more and more aggravated because clearly this show, it changed out the main character, but the writing did not improve at all. So, but that's it for me. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these first 3 episodes of Batwoman Season 2? Let me know. We can talk about, discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe, feature Batwoman reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.